All right, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Saul GoodCast. We got two really good episodes of Better Call Saul: 7 JMM and 8 Bagman. 8 directed by yours truly, Vince Gilligan, and he directed the hell out of that episode. It was so good. But
Yeah.
we'll get into that. And also, we got two episodes of The Walking Dead. Look at the Tower. Season of The Walking Dead has been postponed because of the virus, so we'll have to wait until whenever they release it. The release date has not been announced yet. So we got 4 episodes. Let's go ahead and get started with them. And we found out that JMM, Justice Matters Most, Saul's catchphrase, or as Lalo likes to call it, just make money. Because in this episode, we see Saul represent Lalo arrested from the previous episode where Mike gets Lalo arrested because of the whole him killing Lalo killing the clerk. So in the teaser we see them pick right off where we left, where Kim announces the big M word, getting married, and it's official. Kim and Jimmy are married in this episode.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And with the events transfer, in the next episode where we see Kim. Spoiler alert, because this kind of ties in together, but spoiler alert, Kim goes to see Lalo. So that's scary. That's scary because we know what Lalo is up to. We know the Salaka family, and it's scary. I'm nervous for Kim at this point. But Jimmy and Kimmy are married, and we find out that Saul has been married twice, just like he stated in Breaking Bad. So this makes his third marriage. And we see there was a deleted scene in Breaking Bad where Saul was talking to Walt, where he said that he's got 3 ex-wives. So Kim may potentially be that third ex-wife.
Mm-hmm. You could say this is a marriage of convenience for both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And go ahead.
I think there's some love there, but this is more of a partnership type deal.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see that when Saul is talking to Huel about, where's the rings at, and we're going to go on the honeymoon. And he said there's no honeymoon and there's no rings. This is more of a opportunity of where they're married and that Saul can do whatever he wants, and he tells Kim, and Kim isn't legally allowed to testify against a spouse, just like with the whole Walt and Skyler scenario that we saw in Breaking Bad, where she said, she doesn't have to testify against a spouse since Walt and Skyler were married. And this is what we see here with Jim and Kim.
Yep.
All right, so going into the episode, we see Nacho getting hold of Saul to let him know that Lalo has been arrested and he's got to represent him. Mm-hmm. He has to represent him. And and then we see Mike coming into Saul's apartment for the very first time.
Yeah.
Which was great, hilarious. Saul opens the door. I love the whole scene. It was like, oh, I'm going through a tunnel, and then Mike knocks on the door. Saul goes to answer, and it's Mike.
Yeah.
And then Saul's like, well, enjoy the show. I'm in my underwear. Great scene.
Yeah.
Love it. So we
What
see Mike. Go ahead.
One other thing we see in this episode is Mike interacting with his granddaughter, with Kaylee, and also
Yes.
helping Stacy wash dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling a story about Maddie, about Mike's son.
Yeah.
How he used to hate Santa Claus. He would cry every time he go see Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
Referring to Maddie.
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems like Mike has sort of repaired the relationship between him and Stacy and Kaylee after him going off on Kaylee because Kaylee was talking about Maddie. So it seems like, he's at a better state. This is the Mike we see going into Breaking Bad. And we see a lot of that in, in episode 8 Bag when we discuss it. But yeah, this is 100%. Maybe in the
we see classic Mike in both these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
This is, it's great. It's great to see Jonathan Banks. The thing is, Jonathan Banks is able to make that transition.
Mm-hmm.
As an actor, he's so good at what he does. He's so good at making the transition from sort of sad, depressed Mike to determined Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's more determined than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just can't wait to talk about Bagman because that was just
man.
I mean, we see this, we see Mike we see Mike, total Mike in Bagman.
Yep.
So going on, we transition into Rich, Paige, Kim, and Kevin in the offices of Mesa Verde to discuss what happened in the previous episode with Jimmy / Saul and his whole con to paint Mesa Verde at a bad light and the whole copyright infringement stuff. And it seems like that Kim and Rich are getting ready to be on the same page again with Mesa Verde.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what it looks like to me. And I imagine that's a relief to Kevin.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what happened was it looked as if after Kim kind of confronted Kevin with his own failures, it looked as if they were going to lose Mesa Verde as a client.
Yeah.
But Kevin's like, what time can you be here Thursday or something, or whatever it was he said.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think Kevin kind of like that.
Yeah. So Kevin still has enough confidence in Schweikart and Coakley to keep going with them rather than, start from scratch and hiring a completely different other law firm.
And I don't, and to piggyback on what you said, I think he's got more confidence in Kim than he does Swikert and Coakley. I think he likes Kim
Yes.
a hell of a lot more than Swikert and Coakley.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, but Kim was just basically telling them the truth, really.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what she
And,
was. You know, she was.
yeah,
She's like,
and
hey, you screwed up with this. You screwed up with this. You didn't
yeah.
take our advice. Didn't listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you're in the shape you're in right now.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Kim when she was confronting Mr. Ackard the first time, and her going off on him. You know, she
Mm-hmm.
did the exact same thing to Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. Yeah, so Mike comes into Saul and Kim's apartment, give him the information on Lalo and what he needs to do to get Lalo out of jail. We also see that Lalo wants Nacho to burn down Gus's Los Pollos Hermanos.
With Gus's full cooperation, by the way.
Yeah, Gus helped him out.
Yeah.
Gus helped him out, which is I love the whole scene, by the way. And this is a different Los Pollos Hermanos too. This is not the original Los Pollos Hermanos in Breaking Bad, because
Ah.
we do know for a fact that he's got what 3 or 4, maybe 5 Los chains around New Mexico. Because if you look closely, this was a different Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yeah.
And speaking of Los Pollos Hermanos, we see a big meeting between Gus and Madrigal, and we see a returning character in the
Peter.
German guy.
Peter.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, the same guy that took the shock thing and electrocuted himself in the bathroom of season 5's Madrigal.
Yes.
And we know that there's a humongous relationship between him and Gus and what Gus did in Chile that he got him out of.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more to that story and the whole Gus and Chile and this guy Peter, the German guy Peter. And we
also see Lydia too.
Yes, we see Lydia again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think because remember in Breaking Bad, Lydia was talking about getting Gus's product into the Czech Republic. And I wonder if this whole trio was the beginning stages of that, the beginning stages of that, because she talked about that in Breaking Bad when she was talking to Walt. Yeah, because Peter was talking about the delays in the super lab because he knows about the super lab.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is I love this. This is getting good. I mean, the whole Venn diagram of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad is just overlapping even more with each episode.
Yep.
Let's see here. Oh no, actually, when Gus was talking about him, he reminds him of the situation that happened in Santiago. Their backs were against the wall, and Peter managed to get Gus indebted to him. So something happened, and I hope we get to see that in a flashback, maybe in this season or next season. And they talk about having Gus having his own spinoff. I don't think that's necessary. I think they can just accomplish in one flashback scene with Gus and Chile and this guy, the German guy, and Santiago. I think they can accomplish that in a few flashbacks and be done with it.
Yeah, I think so.
And they also talk about Lalo, and Lydia wants to get Lalo shanked in jail, which is classic Lydia in Breaking Bad. She wanted to get Gus's guy shanked in jail. because Mike doesn't want to kill him. Lydia, oh my God, she wants to get Lalo shanked in jail, but Gus doesn't want to do that. Gus wants Lalo for himself. He does not want nobody else to touch Lalo except for him.
Yeah. Another thing we see in this episode is where Howard finally confronts Jimmy.
Yeah. And Howard figured he knows about the prostitutes. He knows about the bowling ball.
Oh. Somehow he knew. And he confronts him about it. Jimmy's like, "You have no idea what I'm capable of."
Yeah. Yeah, and that scene marks the end of Jimmy McGill, and leading into episode 8, where I like to call the death of Jimmy McGill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he bails out Lalo. Saul bails out Lalo for $7 million in cash, and Lalo's, yep, I got the money. I'll call you. You're going to pick it up.
That's what we see in Bagman. We see in Bagman where Jimmy has to go pick it up.
Yes. This whole episode, directed by Vince Gilligan, it is an absolute Vince Gilligan episode. I mean, it reminded me of Fly, when Walt and Jesse was in the super lab and they had to chase the fly. And it also kind of reminded me of 4 Days Out, I believe it was called, when Walt and Jesse was stuck in the desert and they had to get out of the desert. Just like in this episode, Mike and Jimmy are stuck in the desert and they have to survive and get their way out.
Yep.
So let's go into Bagman, because I think we discussed all the major points in JMM leading into Bagman.
I think so. Yeah.
But I did like the shot of the German guy Peter, where we first saw him. He takes the curly fries, because it's Gus's new curly fry, the spicy curls, and he dips it in the sauce, just like he was dipping the tater tots in the sauce when we first saw him in Breaking Bad. I love that shot. That was a good shot. But all right, so let's go into Bagman. And so the teaser, we see a car pull up, and it is a very familiar car. It's the exact same Cadillac that Saul drives in Breaking Bad. So I'm calling it now that Lalo is going to give Saul the freaking car that he's driving in Breaking Bad. That is going to be a gift from Lalo. And how haunting would that be? Because we saw that Hector got the bell from Lalo. And now we're going to see potentially Saul getting the car from Lalo. And I hope that's the direction they are going. But we see the car pull up, and we see 2 people cleaning the car because the seats are full of blood. They're taking the license plate off. They're replacing everything. They're cleaning it up because something happened with the 2 passengers in that vehicle to be full of blood. And then we see a shot in the background, another car pulling up, and we see 2 familiar-looking people. The cousins the cousins has come to collect the bail money for Lalo. which I thought was tremendous having the cousins back.
Yeah.
Then after the cousins left, we see this person calling in, making a phone call to these people, to someone, saying that I've got something that you might want, and that's the teaser. That's the teaser, setting up the main episode. It was a good teaser. I loved it. A lot of Breaking Bad callbacks with the car and the cousins. Fantastic, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see,
Absolutely.
and then we get into the
meat. It was tremendous.
Yeah. So we get into the meat of the episode, and Lalo, is reading the paper about the arson at Los Porros Hermanos, and he's laughing about it. And we see Lalo saying, okay, here's where you got to go to get this. And I love the scene where it's like Jimmy asks about the well, and he said, "What does the well look like?" It looks like a well. It's funny stuff from Lalo. I mean, Tony Dalton kills it. Lalo is the Negan of Better Call Saul. He's just so entertaining to watch.
Yeah. That's why I want to see him stick around a little bit longer.
Yeah, I hope he does stick around a little bit longer. I hope he does stick around a little longer.
Yep.
And then Jimmy, at first, he's kind of reluctant to get the money. He's like, well, why don't you get your cousins to bring it in? He's like, well, I got these competitors. They want me dead. If somebody sees the cousins, they know that something's up. So, he tells Saul that he's the right guy for this, and he has to do it. And then Saul says, I'll do it for $100,000.
Uh-huh.
Kind of a lowball offer after the crap that Saul went through in this entire episode.
Yep.
And so Saul comes home and he tells Kimmy everything about Lalo and him picking up the bail money, and she's like, I don't want you to do this. She's concerned for him at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess you can compare the relationship between Walt and Skyler and Jimmy and Kim. And when Jim and Walt, when Walt tells Skyler about what he's doing and what Jimmy is telling Kim about what he's doing, and Skyler and Walt's relationship versus Jim and Kimmy's relationship. And I think that'd be a good discussion, because now Kimmy is in the game, as Mike said in this episode, when he finds out that Kim knows everything and that she's a part of this. And Jimmy cannot comprehend that she is a part of this when she goes to see Lalo. She officially becomes a part of this.
Mm-hmm. That's right. She's part of it, whether she likes it or not, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm concerned that she actually might die. They might the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul writers and Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould and all of them might actually have the freaking balls of killing Kim off. Because they have done so many shocking moments in both series that killing Kim off may just be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So we see Jimmy, going to the spot in the desert, and the cousins pull up give him the money.
Yep. He's like, and there was a certain Spanish phrase he had to remember. Was it "io" something? I can't remember what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, he had to tell him that he's a friend of the cartel and that he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I think that could be the same phrase that Jimmy or Saul spoke to Walt and Jesse when they were out in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could have been the same phrase.
May have been.
So if it was, it's a little callback, Easter egg.
Yeah.
And so I never thought in a million years we get to see Saul face the cousins. You know, never thought in a million years.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're bringing all these characters together that we've seen, but we never actually seen interact with before. You know, just like with Hector when he first interacted with Gus, and he was rampaging through Los Portos Hermanos. Loved every bit of that. And then we see Gus and Lalo interact, and Gus and Saul sort of interact a little bit. We haven't seen Gus and Kim interact. Who's to say that Saul doesn't take Kim to Los Portos Hermanos, for lunch or something, and then we see, Gus asking her, "How's everything?" That'll just be great if we just see that.
It would be.
All right, so we see Jimmy getting the bags of money, and he leaves, and all these people pull up behind him, and we see these random people come out, and it appears to be a rival gang from Valos that he was talking about earlier. And then we just see a huge shootout. We don't know who it is. We don't know what the hell is going on. And then we see Mike come out of the woodwork. And Mike knew, well, he was following Saul, I guess, as a potential backup. Because in the episode, he didn't know that all these guys was going to come up. Because if he did know, he would have more people. So he was following Saul to see to make sure that the plan goes down as planned.
Yep.
And then we see that all these cars are all been blown up, and we see Jimmy's esteem the death of his car, just like the death of the crystal ship. Very, very symbolic gesture with Mike pushing the car off the cliff and crashing it. But Jimmy got hit. Jimmy got the cop.
There's one guy left over, though. One guy left over.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mike got them all, and there was one guy left. And then we see the relationship between Mike and Saul in this episode, and the whole dynamic between them, that they can trust each other.
Yeah.
And then we talked about earlier, this is the Mike we saw in Breaking Bad. Him going to town on all them guys, shooting them all, killing them all except for one. There's always got to be that one that gets away. But, this is the Mike we've seen countless times in Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep, this is definitely him.
And then, like I said earlier, this was the death of Jimmy McGill. And what better way to have the Mike we see in Breaking Bad enter the death of Jimmy McGill and Saul Goodman being born in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So basically, they are up on a rock. They're up on a rock ridge overnight,
Mm-hmm.
and Mike tried to give Jimmy a space blanket. And remember, I told you at PM, I said it reminded him too much of Chuck.
Yep. This is also Jimmy, phasing the memory of Chuck out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that with the space blanket, and Jimmy did not take the space blanket.
Right.
Then we see a great conversation between Mike and Jimmy, and he talks about Kim in this conversation, and Mike is like, she's in the game now, whether you like it or not, she's in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and Jimmy just can't comprehend that, just cannot comprehend that, and he's like, he's denying it. He's like, no, she's not. What game? There's no game, And then in the next scene, we see Kim face to face with Lalo. She comes in and does the stupidest thing possible, saying, I know who you are. Saul has told me about you, Mr. Salamanca. And Lalo is like, who is this woman? And then we see him figuring out that this is Saul's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of eases back a little bit, and he's like, she's asking him, where's Saul? You'll get your money. Just tell me where he's at. I won't call the police. And then Lalo is reassuring her, saying, you know what? Since he's got a wife, he's not going to take off without you. I'm going to see that money. He's going to see that money. And then I love the ending where he's like, nice to meet you, Mrs. Goodman. And I love when she says that I know who you are.
Yeah.
And she calls him out that his name is Salamanca. The thing is that he doesn't know Jimmy's real name or Kim's actual name. He just knows them by Goodman. He doesn't know their real names.
Right. So we see the next day Mike and Saul having to walk through the desert, and Saul is hauling. Oh wait, Mike's kind of distributing the water, a little bit.
Yeah.
Evenly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Mike makes some piss water, which is, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive.
Yeah. And I love this. I love what Saul said. They're just going to find a corpse full of piss.
Mm-hmm. So Saul hauls the money in the worst possible way by using the strap across his chest and dragging the bags.
Yeah.
Which punctures a hole in one of them, and money is there's a trail of money behind them.
Now that's my concern, because in the next episode we see them counting the money in the teaser. Is that money going to come up short? Because Saul did that stupid thing. Is it going to? That's my concern. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a concern of mine, because they're counting the money, and Saul is like, here's $7 million in cash at the Bell place, and the counting up short. Is it going to come up short? That's the question I've got. Is the money going to come up short?
Yeah. One bill is stuck in a cactus, and Jimmy has to reach in and get it.
Mm-hmm.
but he gets a needle stuck in his foot. Ouch.
That was kind of painful to watch.
Yep.
He had to pull it out, and I love what Saul had to say. You know, he just gives up and he says, "All they're going to do is find a corpse with a mouthful of piss." I laughed hard at that line. That was a good line.
So they keep going. Saul finally decides he has to carry the money with the straps on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
He has to carry it picked up. He has to have the bags picked up. He can't carry it the other way.
Yeah.
So
and so we get to the end, and the one that got away came back.
Yeah.
And Saul is like, "Okay, get your gun ready." And he punts on the space blanket. He takes the money, and he walks towards the guy. And the truck's coming along, and we think that Saul is going to get run over by the guy, but Mike takes a clean cut. The truck, epic cinematography by Vince Gilligan, does the barrel roll and takes out the last guy.
Yep.
And then we see Jimmy gulp his own piss, and him and Mike makes way back to civilization, ending marking the death of Jimmy McGill as the space blanket floats away after Mike steps on it. Which is, I love the shot again of, Vince Gilligan directed the hell out of this episode. And I read in an interview that he said that this was the toughest episode he had to film because of the whole big shootout scene.
Yep. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and I can see that too.
I imagine whoever directed Ozymandias.
I think that was Vince Gilligan.
Oh, well, I guess that shootout scene wasn't as bad then.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Vince did direct it, Ozymandias. I mean, let me double check, but I think he did.
So definitely two great episodes of Better Call Saul.
Oh no, it was actually directed by Ryan Johnson.
Ah, yes, the guy who directed The Last Jedi.
He wrote it too. Maybe Star Wars is definitely not his cup of tea.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. Ryan Johnson directed some pretty good episodes of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Good thing he didn't probably write any episodes of Breaking Bad. Oh, jeez. Let me see here. Oh yeah, so next episode, we got 2 episodes left of Better Call Saul to the season finale, and man, if it's anything like this episode, they said it's going to be crazy. Any predictions for Monday's episode?
Well, I'll tell you what, if they come up short, then Lalo's screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Saul might be screwed.
Yeah. That is my concern right there. Is they're going to come up short because of Saul's little, his little. I'm trying to think what you call it. Laziness, I guess you can call it. His laziness of not carrying the bags, but just dragging them and having money fall out. And so yeah, that's my prediction right there. So mark that down. Prediction: the money may just came up short. Well, and you know what? I'm not going to say may. The money will come up short.
Uh-oh.
That's my prediction. Stick me to it. Stick me to it. Because
Shane Stradamus.
Shane Stradamus is back. Yeah. Then all right, so if it does come up short, then maybe Saul has to get Kim involved, making up the rest of the money. Maybe that might happen. But Lalo is definitely getting out of jail. He's definitely going to get out of jail. I don't think we'll see him die though. I don't think he'll die this season. I think it's going to be early season 6 whenever they decide to start filming and writing that, because I think it's too soon for him to die.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit too soon for him to die. Also, we got to figure out where is this going with Hamlin. Hamlin and Jimmy. Even though Jimmy turned down Hamlin's offer, where does this leave Hamlin? Is he going to go out of business? Is his practice going to go under? So some kind of holes they got to fill in the gaps right there with Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Gus and his plan, they got to fill in a little bit more holes before they can end this season.
Yep.
All right, so let's get down to The Walking Dead, episode 14 and 15. Look at the flowers and the tower. The season finale has been rescheduled. Of The Walking Dead has been rescheduled, so we'll have to wait on that to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And they did leave it on a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So look at the flowers. We finally we were talking about we wanted to see more about Beta's origins.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do. Turned out he was a country singer who went by the name Half Moon.
Yeah, we and we talked about that. We agreed that he had to have been a celebrity for somebody to recognize him.
Yes. Yep. Yep. So he was here Ferrell putting the Alpha's head up on the stake.
Yes. Oh my God, that was great. That was just boom, right there in the middle.
We see Negan going to retrieve Lydia, and Lydia's not there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we also see some kind of a little bit of conflict between Carol and Negan. They delve more into the whole plan that Carol had for Negan, and Carol is like, "Why did it take you so long?" And she, thought that maybe Negan was enjoying himself too much and getting his power back that he used to have when he was with leading the Saviors. So Carol is like, you know what? Carol just, leaves Negan, just leaves him right there. He takes off.
But in the teaser, we saw a flashback that let him out.
Yes.
Which was pretty cool. So they had this all planned out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then and we see Negan asking, Carol discusses Negan, go and see if you can get in with the Whisperers, so you can get on Alpha's side and to kill Alpha as quickly as possible. And I will have the Alexandria, Gabriel, and all them, let you free and roam and not be cooped up in the prison as long as you do this. And Negan asks for Carol's ward. She gives it to him, and that's how the whole plan went down.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what happened. What else happened?
Let's see. So we see Eugene, Ezekiel, and
Yumiko.
trek out to find Eugene's little girlfriend up in West Virginia, Stephanie.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this episode right here introduces a new character at the end, Princess from the comic book.
Yeah.
We see more of her in the next episode, which I thought she was pretty funny. They made her at first they kind of made her annoying, but then going through the episode, she kind of grew on me, and kind of made me like her a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she's not that bad. She's
Mm-hmm.
and I think as we see more of her, she'll grow on everybody.
Yeah. And we see Beta finding Alpha's head on the stake. And my God, that dude is pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
He is worldly pissed off. So he takes Alpha's head and carries it in this sack.
Yeah, one whisperer is like, "Now you are Alpha." And Beta does not like that. He doesn't want to be Alpha.
No, absolutely not.
So he stabs the guy.
Yes, he stabs it, and he takes one guy and he puts him close to Alpha's head that's on the stake to let her bite him.
Mm-hmm.
And Daryl is kind of reluctant to believe that.
Mm-hmm. But eventually, some whisperers kind of capture Daryl, and they say Negan is now the Alpha.
Yeah.
And Negan kind of acts like, "Yeah, I'm the Alpha." Yeah. So, and then he says, "Oh, you have that shotgun there, pal."
I love that scene. That was a good scene.
And then he shoots both the whisperers.
It was great. And then I guess Negan proved himself. He proved himself that he can be trusted and he can be well liked by the community. But Daryl is still reluctant because of what happened with Glenn, because of what happened with what was the other guy's name? Oh, what was the other guy's name? The redhead.
Well, Abraham,
yeah. Yeah, because what happened with Glenn and Abraham, two close friends that Daryl had, he's never getting back.
Mm-hmm.
And we do see Carol out in the woods hallucinating Alpha. And Alpha's talking to her. She brought back, past memories of Carol.
Yep.
I'm talking about Lily. No, look at the flowers, Lily. Lindsay, yeah. Yeah, Alpha tells Carol, just look at the flowers like you're supposed to, just like Carol said to Lizzie. And then Alpha says, "I'm sorry you're mad at me. Please don't be mad at me. I'm sorry." Again, Lizzie's last words before Carol shoots her in the grove.
Mm-hmm. One thing, Carol goes back to the barn. I believe the same barn where they found, or where the killing took place. The barn collapses on top of Carol,
Mm-hmm.
and she basically has to fight her way up because there's a
Yeah.
walker trying to get in at her.
Yeah. When Alpha also insults Carol, just like Ed did way back in season 1, calling her a brainless clown.
Mm-hmm. But Carol gets over it, thankfully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, let's see here. And then we see at the end of the episode, Beta taking some of Alpha's skin to make himself a new mask,
Mm-hmm.
and we see half of it as Alpha, which is great. Love the visual. And we see
Mm-hmm.
like this big, huge horde of walkers.
Yep.
You know, Alpha, Beta is controlling them, plotting his next move against in the tower. So I think that's pretty much it. And look at the flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go and go into the tower. We see the teaser. You know, we see Princess.
Mm-hmm.
See Princess. You know, like I said, I think first she started out a little bit annoying, kind of annoying, and she kind of just grew on me.
Mm-hmm. One thing that Princess had done in the previous episode was she made it where all these walkers were dressed up and they were um, in different poses like they were normal
Yes,
people. And
that was hilarious.
Ezekiel thought that was hilarious.
That was hilarious. Yeah, it was hilarious. Loved every bit of that. That was great. You know, and Princess is like, so find more out who Princess is. She's been by herself for like close to a year, over a year, and she's a lonely girl, and she had to do something to entertain herself. And I think she's kind of, I think she's that person that's lonely, that like
Mm-hmm.
that would probably like walk up to those walkers and them in them poses and everything. It tries to have a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
Tries to talk to them because that's how lonely she is.
And she winds up leading Ezekiel and Eugene and Yumiko through a minefield.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so I got to say, so we got King Ezekiel, we got Queen Carol, now we have a princess.
Yeah.
We need a prince. We gotta have a prince. Prince Jerry. Let's see here. And so Princess takes Ezekiel and Yumiko to get some transportation because the she kind of scared the horses away from blowing them up with her machine gun,
Mm-hmm.
blowing the walkers up with the machine gun, not the horses, not the horses. She scared the horses away because she used the machine gun to blow up the walkers.
Mm-hmm.
And Yumiko is kind of hesitant to trust Princess, and Keen is Ezekiel and Eugene is like, okay, you know what, let's give it a shot, see what she does, see where she takes us, and if she takes us to where there is some mode of transportation, we can trust her a little bit.
It turns out to be bicycles.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
I gotta say. I'd rather bike instead of do walking.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
And while all that's going on, we've got Beta going crazy, hearing Walker's whisper to him
Yeah,
something about his faith being rewarded.
yeah. We see Beta taking the walkers to Alexandria, and they're empty, and there is like thousands and thousands of walkers in this epic. I love the whole overhead shot of all the walkers
Oh,
standing around the windmill at Alexandria, and we see Luke.
no, Aaron and
No, Aaron, yeah, Aaron and the other guy,
Alden.
Alden, at the top of the windmill to be lookout of what's happening.
They waited until all of them left. They waited until Beta and the Walkers left.
Mm-hmm.
Then later on, they got captured.
Yeah. Yeah, they think they're going. They're thinking that they're going to the ocean side, but they're not.
Because the rest of them are in a hospital, a hospital tower.
Yeah.
And that's where Beta leads the Walkers.
And it's just a perfect cliffhanger of these massive horde of walkers going towards this hospital to where everybody's at, and just ending right there.
Father Gabriel actually calls Daryl because Daryl's got a walkie-talkie.
Yeah. Yeah, we see Daryl trying to call Michonne to let her know what's going on. And this beautiful scene with Daryl and Judith plays out. And the reason why she didn't want to tell Daryl of where Michonne has went is because she might think that he'll leave and go after her. And I wonder if that's going to set up with Daryl or Norman Reedus leaving the show, going after Michonne, who's going to go after Rick in these movies that they're planning on doing.
I hadn't heard about Norman Reedus leaving the show.
All right. Well, if he does decide to leave, that'd be a good way to write him off, is to have him go after Michonne to help Michonne find Rick.
Because they did show a preview for something called World Beyond, Walking Dead World Beyond.
Yeah, and that's been pushed back too.
That's supposed to be later this year.
Yeah. It was supposed to be in April, but they pushed it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they pushed it back because probably because of the virus, the coronavirus, because it's pushing everything back.
Yep.
Let's see here. I'm trying to think what else happened. Oh, Negan and Lydia had a great scene. Negan is condoling Lydia about her mother, and
Yeah.
he's explaining to her that it's okay. You need to get this off your chest, and she just goes after him and just starts hitting him on the chest, and he hugs her, which I thought was really touching moment between the two.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was a good scene.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. I think that happened in this episode. Yeah, so there won't be the season finale tomorrow night
Nope.
because it's been pushed back because of the virus. It will be directed by Greg Nicotero,
Ah.
and I think this is probably going to be the conclusion of the Whisperer War, leading into the next group of people.
Mm.
So that's my prediction for that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so this episode is going to be the return of Maggie.
Ah, okay.
Because we knew that she was supposed to come back this season, but we didn't know when. So, yeah, the return of Maggie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw something about that. That the season finale is going to be the return of Maggie.
It's going to be interesting to see how they bring her back.
Yep.
So yeah. All right. So yeah, that's going to do it for us tonight.
What we're talking about Dark Side of the Ring, don't
Oh
we?
yeah, Dark Side of the Ring, 2 episodes. New
Yeah,
Jack
New
and
Jack. Oh, that was crazy.
That is crazy, man.
New Jack was crazy. New Jack is crazy.
Yeah, he freaking stabbed the dude in the ring twice. The mass transit incident where he stabbed him, and that boy just bloody, blood just pouring from his head. And then this other guy, he just, had this long knife object, and he just started stabbing him in the ring. And it seems like New Jack gets pissed off. If you do something or say something wrong to him, he gets pissed off, and he just takes it out on you. But man, New Jack, I think that's one guy that's not going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. You never see him step foot in a WWE ring.
And then the Brawl for All, Jim Cornette telling the true story of the Brawl for All, saying, I want to strangle him, referring to Vince Russo.
Vince Russo. He was on the episode too. So yeah, so the Brawl for All apparently.
The Brawl for All stemmed.
Jason.
The Brawl for All stemmed from where Vince Russo heard JBL saying, I can whip anybody in a legitimate fight.
Bro.
Oh yeah, bro, I can do it, bro.
Yeah, bro. All right, so bro, listen, bro. We're gonna have this thing called the Brawl for All, bro, and we're just gonna have them in there, and they're just gonna fight each other for real, bro. It's gonna be a shoot, bro.
Oh yeah, I watched the Wrestling with Regret about Brawl for All too. Not too long after that.
Brian Zane does a good Russo.
He
He
does.
does a good Russo.
Jim Cornette calls Russo shit stain.
Oh man. But yeah, so the brawl for all these injuries happen. You got I think Mark Marrow got like a hamstring torn or something.
Well, that was Dr. Death.
Dr. Death, yeah. So Dr. Death got like knocked out on his ass by Bart Gunn, and this was supposed to be allegedly the whole thing was supposed to be a for Dr. Death. It was Jim Ross's boy, and he promoted Dr. Death. He said, "Man, Dr. Death's gonna go through the brawl for all, and he's gonna go and face Austin." Vince Russo said that was not the plan at all. It was just something, to do fill time. He claims that he doesn't know where this whole facing Austin and who's going to do what after they win. He doesn't know where that came from.
Mm-hmm. Did Russo know anything?
Yeah, I mean, Russo actually did a webcast with I don't know who it was, but he did it with somebody, and he was talking about the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So go check. I don't know if you're a Vince Russo fan or not. If you're a Russo guy.
No, I'm a corny guy. I'm a Jim Cornette guy.
I mean, I gotta say, I'm gonna play devil. I like the stories that Russo tells. He tells some pretty good stories. Whether to believe him or not, I don't know, but I just like to hear the stories. If I'm on the edge, I'll go listen to Cornette to have him fill in the gaps that Russo left out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Because I listened to Jim Cornette's podcast where he talked about the brawl for all. He talked about the episode as well.
Yeah, I listened to that.
And he basically said that this whole thing was supposed to make new. It was supposed to be a vehicle to where someone was supposed to go against Austin, but they made Bart Gunn sit at home for the rest of the year. Then they bring him back, and he goes up against Butterbean and gets clobbered.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Vince Russo is denying all that. He said that this was never supposed to be someone to go up against Austin. This was never supposed to be someone to get a title shot. And he said that whole thing with Bart Gunn and Butterbean, he said that the reason why Bart Gunn lost to Butterbean is because Bart Gunn was training to box. And that's not what the whole Brawl for All was. The whole Brawl for All was just to have them go in the middle of the ring and fight for real and see who can knock them out.
Well, they were putting takedowns on each other. It wasn't straight up boxing. It wasn't straight up boxing. They were doing takedowns on each other and stuff like that too.
Yeah, it was more of a MMA, but with boxing gloves. And I think the idea could have been pretty good if maybe they did more of a work instead of a shoot.
Mm-hmm.
They could have had a tournament, call it the Brawl for All, and have all these people, make it like King of the Ring. Make it like King of the Ring.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a tournament, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a shoot, and people literally did get hurt, legitimately.
Yeah. And I think since there's so many former UFC fighters in the WWE now, they could potentially bring this back and make it one hell of a good show. Have Brock Lesnar go up against Bobby Lashley, They got what? They have Cain Velasquez. He's in there. Tyson Fury. We got there's some female former UFC. Bring back Ronda Rousey going up against Shayna Baszler. Bring back the Brawl for All and have it in that and change it up a bit, but have all these former UFC people enter it and fight in that. I think that's some potential they could do.
Yeah.
Or maybe bring the name back and just have it as a work. Brawl for All is a damn good name. I gotta say that. That's a good name. Bring it back, bring the name back and just do it as a work.
Yeah. Instead of having people legitimately get hurt.
Exactly. They need to bring back the Lions Den match. That was good. I like that.
Yeah, Owen Hart, Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I think they should have had it more like they should have it more like MMA. Had it more of an MMA style instead of more of the boxing style. And I think because they had Dan Severn, they had Ken Shamrock, they had Steve Blackman, Dr. Death, they had all these people that was trained in brawling for that. So it could have been good if they did it. If they could have, tie up some loose ends. Mark Merrow, he was the Golden Gloves champion, back then. So, I mean, have him go up against Dan Severn or Steve Blackman. That would have been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But
Dan Severn backed out of it because he thought it was
bullshit.
Yeah, basically.
They should have kept him in there. I think they should have paid him more to go in there. I think Godfather. I think he was. I think he trained in boxing a little bit. The Godfather.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the Godfather. Yep.
So I mean, you had all these people that had some training in boxing, in UFC, MMA fighting. That could have been one good show if they would have just executed better.
Yeah.
And then they said that the way they did the names is they pull it out of a paper bag. Bruce Pritchett pull out the name out of a paper bag to set up the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think. JBL did get knocked out by Bart Gunn.
Yep.
Oh my God! I bet at the time, I bet he was pissed that he got knocked out by Bart Gunn. But yeah, I love those 2 episodes of Dark Side of the Ring. But New Jax by far was the craziest, and I love the ending when he said that he would like to be sitting in a wheelchair, snorting cocaine, and giving the finger.
Say thank you, bitches.
Let's see. I'm looking up and see what Tuesday's episode is. Let's see here. Ooh, Jimmy Snuka and the Death of Nancy Argentino.
Yes, that would be a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the whole story is that Jimmy Snuka killed her, and the evidence wasn't there to prosecute him.
Yeah.
And then I think like late 2017, there was some more evidence, but he died before they could actually get tried.
Yeah, I've heard Jim Cornette talk to Dave Meltzer about that case.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that podcast.
What's his opinion on it?
Well, I mean, it seemed pretty clear that he may have killed her.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, notice that Jimmy Snuka never won a title in the WWF.
Yeah.
That was sort of part of his punishment,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Even though it never really could be proven that he killed her.
Yeah. Now since Snuck is dead, there's no way of proving it now.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 2015 he was indicted and arrested and
Mhm.
charged. He pleaded not guilty. He was ultimately found unfit to stand trial in 2016 because he was diagnosed with dementia.
Yes, right.
Uh, the charges was dismissed on January 3rd of 2017, and then that's when Snuka died 12 days later, and he was 73.
Mhm.
So this is one story that's probably never going to get unsolved.
Absolutely. It's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of crazy shit, one thing we got to do like a full show on Tiger King.
Have you seen it?
Yes,
I've seen it too.
I watched the whole thing.
Oh, well, we can talk about it. Well, yeah, we can talk about it.
You can talk about something that gets crazier by the minute.
Hey, since Walking Dead's not on, we'll do it next week.
Yes, next Sunday. Yeah, we'll schedule. We'll schedule it. 8 Eastern, 7 Central.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week on Salt GoodCast.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we need something to filler. So yeah, we'll talk about it. My God, Tiger King, Joe Exotic.
yeah. Joe Exotic and that damn Carol Baskin. That bitch Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskins. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then Doc, the cult leader.
Yeah, the guy with the harem. He had a freaking harem.
Good Lord. It's crazy. Hey, has that new episode been released yet? They said it was a,
I've been looking to see. It hasn't been released yet. I don't think.
because they said it was going to release sometime this week.
That's what Jeff Lowe said.
Unless it got pushed back.
May have.
After Jimmy Snuka, the next episode is the Dino Bravo, the assassination of Dino Bravo.
Yeah, that was an interesting case. They never did prosecute whoever did that.
Oh wow.
They think it was the mafia there.
Mm. But Tiger King, we'll talk about that next week.
Man, that's some crazy shit, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, Trump was asked by a journalist the other day if pardon Joe Exotic, and Trump said, "I'll look into it."
Uh-huh. Well, Donald Trump Jr. was on a podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
they asked him about it.
Yeah. Trump said President Trump was like, which son of mine asked the question? Was it Don Jr.? He said that must have been Don Jr. I know Don. That was great. Oh my God, what if freaking Trump pardons Joe Exotic? How crazy would that be?
Yeah, Tiger King is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I started on it last week, and then a buddy of mine came over, and I just we just started to talk, and I tuned out for most of it. So I gotta watch it. I did see where he married two dudes, so he has
Uh,
two husbands. Like,
Yeah.
how is that even possible? I mean, it's not even legal unless it's legal in Florida.
One of them, Travis, accidentally committed suicide.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I heard about that part too. Mm.
And the other actually does have you said a teeth, but he didn't have any teeth.
Yeah, I did see that one. Yeah. My God. And Carol Baskins, did she kill her husband and feed him to the tigers?
Yeah.
That's the question we're going to answer next week.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, so Tiger King. Yeah, we definitely want. Yeah, I'll have to watch that again. So yeah, so we got a lot of content for next week. We got Dark Side of the Ring with Jimmy Snookum. We're going to discuss Tiger King, and we're also going to discuss episode 9 of Better Call Saul, which is crap. I didn't look it up. Let me look it up. Let's see here. Bad Choice Road, written and directed by Thomas Schnauz. And then episode 10 is called Something Unforgivable.
Oh yeah.
Written and directed by Peter Gould, co-written by Ariel Levine.
Nice.
So yeah, 2 episodes of Better Call Saul. Is going to get crazy. I know it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've got a lot of content for next week. Tiger King, Dark Side of the Ring, and Better Call Saul. And I think we probably can go an hour and a half on Tiger King. So yeah, so we're going to be a busy webcast for next week. But yeah, so on that, I think we discussed all the major points on all 4 episodes. On that note, good night, everybody. See you here next week. I might have to change my name to Shane Exotic. Henry, you can be my Carol Baskins.
Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens.
Oh my God, Henry, please open up the show with that line. Please open that show up with a line. All right. So long, you all cool cats and kittens. We'll see you here next week. Good night, everybody.